so we are going to get right into our next cursive lesson. This is cursive lesson number 3, P, L, and B. So we're going to get started by doing the letter P. So here are my lines, top line, bottom line, and my middle line. So P, again, we're going to start at the bottom and we're going to kind of curve up a little bit just to do kind of our intro. So you're going to start down here, curve up, and then you're going to come all the way down. You're actually going to go below the line, and then you're going to ride it back up, make a P, and then you're going to end with a little curl like this. This curl is going to help you lead in to your next letter. So this is the previous letter, go down, up, P is just like that, all right? We're going to go again, P, start at the bottom, curve up, down, make a P, and then have that little curve. So I guess the lines here just help you do the connecting to the different letters. So P basically looks like a regular P, but you just have a line at the beginning and the end. So there is P. L is one of my favorites. It is very, very similar to E, except going E, you go to the halfway part. With L, you're going to go all the way up to the top. And that's it. You just make a loop, a nice tall loop. Notice how there is an actual loop, which means there's space in between right there. So please make sure you're doing that. And then you just make the L's. All right, so L's and P's are pretty easy. B is very similar to L, actually. Top line, bottom line, my middle line. B is going to look almost identical to the L, but with that little ending that I've talked about before. So you're going to make an L, and you're actually going to take it all the way up to the midline, and then you're going to do that little ending. So the reason we're putting L and B together is to see the difference. So you can see that L, you just take this line right here and continue on to your next letter. B, you have this little different ending to differentiate it between L and P. All right, so those are the different letters, and now we're gonna do some blending. All right, so let's blend some letters together. So let's just do P, L, and B. So I'm gonna skip top line, bottom line, middle line. So we have P straight into L. And this is kind of where L stops and my B is going to begin. So I'm going to do a B, and I'm going to do that ending right there. So P, L, and B. So we'll go P, pretty easy, goes right into that L. Now I'm starting my B. So I do another loop again, but the ending is what separates it. So we have P, L, and B. I'm going to do it in a different order now. So I'm going to do P, B, and L just so you can kind of see the difference. So I'm going to start with a P. Now I'm going to do a B. So B is very similar to L, but I'm going to go to that midway point, do the little curve, and now I'm going to go into the L. Okay, so you see the difference. The B comes all the way to the middle, you do this little downward thing, and then you just do your L, continuing where you left off with the B. So you go P, trace it back up, B to the middle, and then L. And then you go P, B to the middle, little curve, and then L. So that's the difference between the L and the B. We'll try again doing some different letters. We'll do some different combinations. Let's do B, P, L. So if I'm going to do a B, go to the middle, do the little curve, and now I'm going to go to the P. So now rather than my P starting at the bottom right here, I'm just going to start it in the middle. So now I'm going to make my P and then to an L. So again, you have that B, curve into the P, L, and then P, oops, that's not what I'm doing. I'm doing B, P, L. So I'm doing a B, B, L. Let's do one more combination of letters. Let's do B or L, B, P. L, and I'm going to go into my B, and then I'm going to go into my P. So again, L just continues in the next one. B has that little ending. We have L, B, P, and we have L, B, P. So I would just go practice making some different silly words with those letters. Okay, so now let's do some real words. So we know how to do all right, I just jotted down a couple of different words that we're gonna start practicing. So we have split, bit, pull, bolt, built, less, and pew. So we're just gonna practice making those words. So here's my top line, bottom line, and middle line. We're gonna start with split. So I do my S, P, L, I, T. Again, I'm gonna dot my I and cross my T at the very end. So, oops. It. And one more. Notice I'm trying to use some of the P's, L's, and B's to kind of start making some words there. All right, we're gonna go to the next word. Go ahead and practice that, and then we'll go on to the next one is bit. So I start with my B, it looks like an L, goes to the middle, I, and then T. Again, cross my I and dot my T at the very end. We have B, I, T, B, I, T, and B, I, T. So again, B goes all the way to the middle with that little ending. Notice how I have that little dip, the little ending in all of them. All right, now we're on pull next. So you have P, U, L, L. Pull is probably a really funny one because you got a lot of these little loopy loops to get good practice, and you're kind of working on taking your arm and pushing it to the right. And then you have P, U, L, L. All right, now we're on to built. So built, top line, bottom line, middle line is B. Remember, go to the middle, and then you go right into the U, I, L, T. And then, so this one's kind of interesting. So here's my B, right, with the little U, or the little ending, and then you go right into the U. U stops right here. Now we're going into the I. So the I is right here, and I'm gonna identify it's the I by really dotting this one, because it looks like a couple of different I's, but right here we have the U portion with no dots, and then the I, and then LT. So built is kind of an interesting one. U, my U is done. Now I'm gonna do I, L, T. And for that T, I kind of made a little opening there. You typically don't want to do that, especially if L and T are right next to each other, but again, I'm identifying that I'm crossing the T, which tells it's a T. So last one, B, U, I, L, T, and there's that. Okay, now we're gonna go on the word less. Okay, so we have L, E, S, S. Again, S's are really hard, especially back to back, so this is really good practice. So L and E are very similar, that's kind of fun, and then you do the S, S. Really good practice with those S's. And then you have L, E, S, S. Okay, last one is pew, like a pew in a church, or so we have P goes into E, and then you do W. Remember, W has to have that ending, because if you don't have that ending, it turns it into a U. So you have P, E, W, and then P, E, W. All right, so we have 9 letters done in the cursive alphabet. So we're making a lot of good words now. Can you think of any other words to use with W, E, I, T, S, U, P, L, and B? Comment on the sections and practice them at home. This is Miss Johnson signing off. Thank you.